Welcome to our guide on how to prepare for hurricane season in New Tampa and Wesley Chapel, Florida. Hurricanes are a common occurrence in this region, and while we are blessed to not usually get hit very hard, it's still crucial to be ready just in case. In this video, we'll cover essential steps to ensure your safety and protect your property. So let's get started. First thing you want to do is understand hurricane season. Hurricane season in our area runs from June 1st to November 30th each year. During this period, the Atlantic Ocean is at its most active. Understanding the hurricane season is the first step in preparedness. It's not usually a question of will we get a hurricane or two each season. It's a question of when. If a hurricane forms near Cuba and then comes up through the Gulf of Mexico, we will be affected by at least the outer bands of it, if not the eye. We are blessed that the last few major hurricanes didn't make landfall in Tampa, even though that's what the prediction models were showing that they would do. But we still get the high winds and ongoing thunderstorms, so we need to be ready for that. So first thing you want to do is assemble an emergency kit, and do it now and just have it on hand. You'll want to include canned and non-perishable food, water, a flashlight, batteries, first aid kit, phone chargers, important documents, and cash. And don't forget medications, pet supplies, and baby essentials if needed. Once a storm has been named, it's a good idea to collect up to 1 gallon of water per person and pet per day for at least 3 days in case of power outages. Make sure you get all these supplies early before the shelves go bare. Unfortunately, people tend to go into survivor mode and hoard these items, so don't wait until the last minute. Next, you want to consider having an evacuation plan. Know your local evacuation routes and shelters. Communicate this plan with your family members and establish a designated meeting point. This advice applies more to South Tampa and some other areas in the region, more so than New Tampa or Wesley Chapel. We are not in a mandatory evacuation zone, so any evacuation would be at the discretion of the homeowner. I have to say, in all my years of living here, we have never evacuated, no matter how tempting it may have been. Our friends that did evacuate to either Orlando or Georgia or elsewhere out of this area ended up getting hit harder up there than we did down here. So usually we just choose to hunker down. Now, what does that mean? Depending on how old your home is, you may want to protect it by securing windows with hurricane shutters or plywood, which we have not done. We have recently upgraded to hurricane impact windows. The house was built to sustain a certain level of hurricane, I think a Cat 3, and we replaced those windows to now be either a Cat 4 or 5. That's one way to handle it. Regardless, you want to trim your trees and shrubs to reduce potential debris flying around, and also secure your outdoor furniture and objects that could become projectiles in high winds. We usually put our patio tables upside down and then take the umbrellas and just put them on the ground and bring all of the patio chairs inside the house for the duration of the storm. You also want to review your insurance policies to make sure they cover hurricane damage. Make digital copies of important documents like birth certificates, passports, and insurance papers, and then store them securely. Now, with some of these, if you have the paper documents, let's say passports, birth certificates, and so on, you can put them in a baggie and then have them in a place where if you would need to leave your house in a hurry, you could just quickly grab it. Same thing with precious photos that you might not have a digital copy of. And then stay informed. Download weather apps, sign up for emergency alerts, and follow local news updates. Keep a battery-powered weather radio handy for real-time information. My favorite apps to download are WeatherBug and ABC Action News. They tend to be the most accurate, but during a hurricane, not so much sometimes. So what I like to do is follow my favorite weather people on Facebook. I get the most accurate information by following Dennis Phillips and Mike's Weather Channel. Dennis is a local weatherman on ABC, and Mike is just a weather nerd down in Palm Harbor, Florida. He's not a professional, but he absolutely could be. He just loves tracking weather patterns, chasing down storms, and reporting on it. So a lot of people have come to depend on him. Both of them are very good at explaining the current situation and deciphering the spaghetti models. So every time a hurricane is coming, there's a number of different models where they try to predict what path it's going to take. And because they all differ, and sometimes they will agree at one point, and it just looks like a mass of spaghetti. So that's why they call it spaghetti models. So they know how to decipher the information on those while still keeping everyone calm. In fact, Dennis has 7 rules for hurricane season. And rule number 7 is don't panic unless he panics. And he rarely panics. So if you do end up evacuating for the hurricane, after it passes, don't rush home. Wait for official clearance and beware of downed power lines and flooded areas. If it looks like a puddle, it might actually be a lot deeper than you think. Be very careful driving and use caution when assessing any damage to your property. Now, lastly, remember that we are all in this together. Be a part of your community's preparedness efforts. Help your neighbors, participate in cleanup initiatives, and support each other during these challenging times. And remember, there's nothing like a good old hurricane party to gather friends and celebrate when we come out of it unscathed. In Florida, being prepared for hurricane season is not a choice, it's a necessity. By following these steps, you can protect your loved ones and property during the storm. Stay safe and be ready. Thank you for watching my guide on preparing for hurricane season in New Tampa and Wesley Chapel. Remember, preparedness saves lives. Stay safe and take care.